is the Deep End Broadcasting Network.
Ford, a three-time 20-goal scorer, goes to the net. Right down the slot, it's Vince Dunn, and he scores. Going back to last season, Pasternak. Now it's 61 goals. In his last 83 games as his one-timer finds the back of the net. Through center and on the go, Ovechkin has it in neutral towards the empty cage. He scores again. Alex Ovechkin one closer to 800. There's the draw. Now it's a 3-on-2 for the Stars. Lindell carries up across ice. Landry, and they score! Glendening went to the net. Redirects it. A short-handed goal makes it 4-1 Dallas. That will not make the coach happy.
What the puck is going on?
Here we are on Monday, May the 1st, 2023, as we enter our 8th month of What the Puck is Going On, the playoff edition here on the Deep End Broadcasting Network, broadcasting live from Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America, with all the prayers to all those people suffering from the tornado damage here locally. Hopefully they could get things back together pretty quickly. On the phone with me is Nephew Dave. I am Stephen Murray, and this is What the Puck is Going On. Nephew Dave, what's going on?
Good evening.
Good evening. And what's your take of the playoffs from this weekend, Dave? Upside down, topsy-turvy, and here we are. We kind of said it, but Boston Bruins beware, but they are bounced. The Colorado Avalanche bounced as well. Florida Panthers, Seattle Kraken move on. And as we said the whole time, anything can happen in these NHL playoffs. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Steve. Wow. I mean, all the above. What a playoffs it's been. I had a feeling, Florida, they started picking it up. And I was like, this is not looking good for the Bruins. And sure enough, just as it was a couple years ago with the Tampa Bay Lightning, we all remember how dominant that team was. They get swept in the first round. Now, the Bruins didn't get swept, but this is a series that I don't think anybody had going that far, let alone having the Panthers come out on top. So, and then like you said, the defending Stanley Cup champs, the Avs, they are done. And it just goes to show you what the NHL playoffs are all about, Steve. In my opinion, this is what it's all about. All you got to do, not all you have to do, but just give yourself a chance at the end of the season to make this tournament, because you never know what is going to happen here.
And that's what the Florida Panthers did as they trailed the Bruins by 44 points in the standings. They crawled their way into the wild card. And with just 12 losses in the regular season, the Panthers are able to slap another 4 losses on top of those to the Bruins, and they are out. And now it is, Nephew Dave, a wide open affair here as we move into round 2. But we're not quite done with round 1 yet. We have one best of 7 series of round 1 left to finish out tonight. That is in New Jersey with the Devils hosting the Rangers. We'll go ahead and talk about that game, and we'll go ahead and look forward to the upcoming. We'll go ahead and talk about the upcoming series here, Dave, in a second. We'll go through the playoff odds and more. But let's go ahead and take this first game. The Rangers respond with emphatic passion at home there in the second period Saturday night with their backs against the wall, with the Devils jumping out to the early lead. And once they got on the board, it seemed like the goals were just flowing. They went through that long extended dry spell where they weren't able to score, but then they were able to pile it on there on the Devils Saturday night. And here we are for game 7. Who do you like tonight, Dave?
Steve, I got to say, I don't know. I think it's going to be New Jersey. It's up there at the Rock, the Prudential Center in New Jersey. So I think this is probably going to be an overtime game. I mean, this might be, it's either going to be 2-2 or 4-4 going into overtime. So Steve, I don't know. We're getting, decent numbers here with Jersey. But I think at home, the only thing that worries me about the Rangers, has been the inconsistencies. You just don't know exactly what Rangers team is going to show up. If it's the one, that we know that they can be, then I think they have a chance to go very far. But if they don't show up and perform tonight, like they've shown can happen, then they're not going to go anywhere past this evening. So I think the Devils squeak it out at home, Steve.
Plus 330 if you think it does go to overtime. In the 60-minute line, both teams are paying plus 140. And in the game line, minus 110 here on both sides, over under 5.5. And these game sevens can be traditionally tight, low scoring games. So there you are with a low over under total, Dave. I'm going to trust the Rangers and their experience. Just like I kind of said all along here. Now, the Devils have definitely shown to be a very worthy opponent. And they can make a deep run if they get the winner of this game gets Carolina. So whoever gets Carolina here has a good chance, I think, to win that series and go to the Eastern Conference Final as well. I'd give either of these teams a decent chance to be able to take out the Hurricanes, who are well rested now at this point too. You got to keep that in mind as well. But I'm going to trust the playoff experience with Shesterkin back there. He had some great saves the other night, so maybe he's starting to find his ultimate groove here. And if he does, the Rangers are going to be a really, really dangerous team. And I'm going to go ahead and back Shesterkin and the Rangers tonight. Let's look at both sides of the alternate puck line, because we know that these teams are pulling goalies early and often, so the chance to actually get up by 2 or 3 goals late or even 4 is there. For the Devils, if you think the Devils can tally up the goals there late here in the game, the Devils at minus 1.5 or plus 230, minus 2.5 plus 430, and minus 3.5 plus 1060. The Rangers on the flip side of that are basically the same thing, minus 1.5 plus 230, minus 2.5 plus 400, and minus 3.5 plus 1060. Now, I'm with you, Dave. I expect this to be a close game, but it could just get out of hand late here once the goalies get pulled if one of the teams has a lead. So that's why
I can certainly see that, Steve, for sure.
That's why I'll throw that puck line out there. And on that note as well, for the alternate totals, it could be the same type of dealio. If you have a 3-2 game and you pull the goalie, you actually might get up to 8 goals in this game or something like that. But over 7.5 goals is plus 420. That is a good price here. And over 8.5 goals, I don't think they'll get that high in this game with these two teams. They're going to play physical and hard. And, I feel like shots are hard to come by a lot of times when these two are playing each other. But plus 630 if you think they can somehow have this game tied 4-4 here at the end of regulation, or if you get that extra 2 or 3 or 4 goals late from the pooled goalie. All right, Dave, so we'll differ on this. You'll have the Devils. I'll take the Rangers. We have $1 million side bet, so we'll see who has to pay off who tomorrow on the show. Just kidding. We don't have that, people. Let's see. Any other thoughts on this one, Dave?
No, I think I think like most of the game sevens, or the other game sevens before this one, they were good games, and I would certainly expect this one to follow suit. Yeah,
and it's amazing these NHL playoffs, as we've been talking about. The fact that we've had a lot of game sevens here in the first round, and 7 of the series actually went to game 6. Carolina, fortunate to clinch and get that rest. How about that, Dave? Whoever wins this game, how do you think they match up against Carolina?
Yeah, so Steve, here's the thing about that is, you're absolutely right. Carolina is going to be well rested, so that's going to be good for them. But I tell you what, that can also set them up for maybe a slow start in the first game of the second round. These teams before, or the teams that are coming off this, game 7, they're going to be, they're going to be having played all these games. They're going to be in a groove. And that's just the kind of grind that this tournament is. So, they're probably trying not to think about injuries and being tired and all that. They're going to be, thinking about, okay, we're in our groove here. We're playing some good hockey. Let's try and take advantage of a team that's been sitting for a little while. So that's one thing that you have to keep in the back of your mind when you're coming to make a decision. When you look at those lines and whatnot, just remember that a slow start could be possible for Carolina, having sat so long.
Exactly. And rest is a good thing, but sometimes it isn't. We've seen it on several occasions where it breaks up the momentum of that team who's been carrying themselves well. And next thing you know, they have to sit several days and they kind of lose their punch, just kind of like what you said there, Dave. So it'll be interesting to see how the Carolina can rally at home here on Wednesday night when game one of that series will take place, which will be an incredible atmosphere, I'm sure, down there in Raleigh here on Wednesday night. Let's talk about this series starting tomorrow night. And Toronto picked off one Florida team in Tampa Bay in 6 games, and they'll have a chance to pick off another Florida team, and they'll be at home here as the Maple Leafs, kind of unfamiliar territory here in round 2 of the NHL playoffs. Yeah. Will host the Florida Panthers. Minus 160 right now are the Maple Leafs. Minus 165 maybe you might see out there. The Panthers plus 135 I'm seeing, over under 6.5. Interesting series here, Dave. I think overall, though, I'm going to keep with Toronto. I like them over Tampa. I knew you were back in Tampa, and this is going to be feast or famine for both of us in the playoffs. We had some nice picks and some other ones that didn't look so great here. But I'm going to stick with the Maple Leafs since I had them to take out Tampa Bay. I think that they can take out Florida as well. This could be a high-scoring series as well, Dave. I think we could see a lot of goals potentially in Toronto and Florida. As far as the goalies go, no one listed as of now, so we'll have to get back to that later. But how do you like the series, and how do you like game one?
I'll tell you, Steve, this one, I'm pretty interested in this series. I think this is going to be, like I just said, pretty interesting. And I tell you, I think we're starting to drift apart here, Steve, breaking my heart. I'm gonna hop on the Panthers bandwagon here. I mean, they just took out the Boston Bruins at a historic regular season. Just a team that, Florida was being expected to be swept in that series. I know in a couple of my tickets I had them swept, and I had them, losing 4-1, just giving them that one game. So they came out and they have proved everybody wrong. And you've got Bob Roski playing, some of his best hockey down the stretch here, not down the stretch, but down the stretch of that series is what I'm getting at. So I think that's going to be, very helpful for them. And I think this one goes 6. I could see it going 6 games for either side, but a possible game 7 to come in this one as well. And yeah, Steve, I would be expecting goals as well for sure.
All right, so we're going to differ on that one as well. You'll stick with the Panthers. I figured you would probably do that, and I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Leaves. So we'll see on the Friday show how we're looking as that series will shift to South Florida for the weekend. They'll have those 2 games up in Toronto knocked out by then. Tuesday night also will kick off game 1 of the Seattle Kraken and Dallas Stars. The Stars minus 170, Kraken plus 140, over under 5.5. Seattle impressive in taking out Colorado in 7, but maybe not as impressive as Dallas, who dismantled the Wild there, and they go ahead and advance in 6 games. The Stars look good, Dave. They look like a well-rounded team. They look like they have all the pieces to me. They can win an offensive game. They can win a defensive game. They have a goalie as well. He's very level-headed, down-to-earth kid as well. So he's very grounded. Dallas looks like a very, very good team to me. And they're going to be my pick actually here to come out of the West. I like what I see from the Stars right now. So if I like them to come out of the West, then I'm going to take them to take out the Kraken. And I think they could do this in 5 or 6 games. Seattle, again, a good story. Maybe they were able to take advantage of a Colorado team with several injuries, suspensions, etc. But, the Kraken have been a surprise all year. They could definitely pull one over on the Stars as well. But I like Dallas. I've liked them all year. Even back in October, November, we said keep an eye out on this team, even in the futures market as well. So I'm going to stick with the Stars in this series. I think it will be a shorter series. Even if they win in 4-1, Dave, that won't surprise me. And you know what? I wouldn't put the sweep. I wouldn't put the sweep out of that's within a shot of happening as well, is what I'm trying to say. I guess. I don't know. Let's see if you agree with me on this one. What do you think about Dallas and Seattle?
Yeah, Steve. So we're going to go ahead. Yep, we are definitely agreeing on this one. I think this is going to be a 4-2 series win for the Dallas Stars. I think Seattle finds a way, like I said, to win those 2 games, maybe one on the road, one at home. But ultimately, I think this Dallas team can go very deep, maybe contend for the Stanley Cup. The only thing that worries me about that, Steve, is the Edmonton Oilers. I think that team, we'll talk about them when we get to it, but I think that is a serious threat coming out of the West. But yes, Dallas, a very good team. I'm going to go ahead looking at this over under 5.5. I'm going to go ahead and, think that this is going to be a little bit lower scoring of a series, and one in which I think, Dallas, like I said, comes out on top. I'll give the Kraken the 2 games. So Dallas Stars in 6.
All right. And if we look at some of these here, the correct score for Dallas in the sweep is plus 880, 4-1 is plus 410, 4-2 is plus 430, and 4-3 is plus 410. Kraken for the sweep plus 1500, about 10-1 to win 4-1, 4-2 pays 570, and 4-3 pays plus 630. Minus 188, minus 190 for Dallas to win the series. Kraken on the series comeback plus 150. Yeah, I got some future tickets on the Stars I've tied in here. So we're gonna go ahead and ride with the Stars here, and we'll see how far they can get down the road. But I think they are capable of making a very, very deep run, if not winning this whole thing. And you mentioned the team that could stymie all of that as well when we get to the next round. Edmonton, they're going to have to get by the Vegas Golden Knights first. Now, this is interesting, Dave. Edmonton is a minus 152 series favorite. The Golden Knights are plus 125, but this game starts here on the road for Edmonton in Vegas. So Vegas with the home ice advantage is the underdog. The game is minus 110 both ways. This is a game that will be after the Carolina versus to be determined opponent on Wednesday night. So 9:30 face-off Eastern Standard Time in Vegas for the Knights and the Oilers. The Oilers aren't a favorite for no reason in the series, Dave. Although they are taking a lot of money here, I'm going to trust them a little bit more than Vegas. But just like Seattle, Vegas has kind of proven me wrong the whole time here. But I'm going to have to stick with Edmonton. I like that talent. They had the deep run going last year. I feel like they're the one team that it really is a bust of a season if they don't make the Stanley Cup in their eyes. But I'm going to stick with the Oilers to take out the Knights. I could see this being a longer series, though, 6 or 7 games. I don't think it's going to be an easy skate for the Oilers. And if this series does drag out and Dallas does in the series with the Kraken early, that's going to be a distinguished advantage. I think Dallas will be just fine, well rested, playing either one of these two teams down the road. But Edmonton, favorite in the series, Dave, do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I agree with pretty much everything you just said. Now, don't get me wrong. Vegas is a very good team. I'm not taking anything away from them, Steve. And I do think this is a 7-game series. I think it's Edmonton in 7, but it's just the Oilers. I think they have just that little bit more. And like you said, anything but the Stanley Cup final is a bust for them. They made that deep run. They have that taste. They want to get back to that, and I think they are tooled to absolutely do it again. If not, maybe go all the way, depending on who comes out on the east side. But that'll be something we need to keep an eye on. But I think this Edmonton team is just they're getting some secondary scoring now. They have a little bit of depth. They have Skinner in net, who has proven that he is up to the task.
Much better now. Yes,
so,
he's playing much better.
Much better. And Steve, I don't know, something about this Edmonton team. I think that they are. They're very focused on this goal of theirs, and I think they have just a little bit more than the Knights can handle. So, we'll see, but I think it's Edmonton for sure. And it's going to go 7, I believe.
So if we think it's Edmonton and Dallas, special props here on the forecast. The Stars to beat Edmonton in the finals is plus 550, and Edmonton to beat the Stars is plus 360. So you could actually take both of those and make a good profit right now if you think Edmonton and Dallas both advance, which I think they do. So this is almost I'm not going to say it's free money, Dave, but if you take both of those forecasts and you risk 100, you'll lose one of the bets. But you're either going to get paid plus 260 or 450, depending on what happens. So if you're looking to make a big investment, you can take both of those at Dallas to beat Edmonton and Edmonton to beat Dallas and get a good payday. With only the Golden Knights maybe playing the villain in that role, I really just don't see the Kraken beating the Stars at all. The Eastern Conference is going to be a little bit more tricky to forecast the matchups here, and we'll go over all the odds to just to win the West. We have Edmonton at plus 180, the Golden Knights plus 220, Stars plus 250, Kraken plus 550. In the East, we have Toronto plus 190, Hurricanes plus 270, Panthers plus 400, Devils plus 550, and the Rangers at plus 600, where I have a ticket with them and Dallas, where I got 22-1 on the Rangers here the other night. So I'm going to be rooting for that hard. Then Rangers do come back and win this series. That could be the momentum for them to carry them all the way through, to be honest. We talked momentum a few minutes ago. Coming back from a 2-game, a 3-2 deficit to win the series, when your backs are against the wall, the Rangers here, especially after being up in that series, that could the Rangers could get on that little momentum swing. So in the Eastern Conference, on the matchup forecast in the finals, we would have Panthers versus Hurricanes is plus 340, Panthers versus Devils plus 800, Panthers versus Rangers plus 900, Leafs versus Hurricanes plus 230, Toronto versus New Jersey plus 550, Toronto versus the Rangers, which I think is what it will be, is plus 650. And on the straight forecast, if I have the Rangers to beat the Maple Leafs right now, that's plus 1,400. Wow, that's a good number, Dave.
Wow.
Other ones are, I'll go through them all, really. The Hurricanes to beat the Panthers, plus 600. Hurricanes to beat the Maple Leafs in the Eastern Final, plus 460. Panthers to beat the Hurricanes, plus 800. Panthers to beat the Devils, plus 1,700. Panthers to beat the Rangers, plus 1,800. Devils to beat the Panthers, plus 1,300. Devils to beat Toronto plus 1,000. Rangers to beat Florida 16-1. I wouldn't mind having that ticket either, to be honest, Dave. Rangers to beat Toronto, again, 14-1. Maple Leafs to beat Carolina plus 550. Maple Leafs to beat the Devils plus 1,200. And Maple Leafs to beat the Rangers plus 1,100. So right now, actually, if you like Rangers and Toronto, kind of like how I do, then what you can do is this, just like we talked about with Dallas and Edmonton, you could take Toronto to beat the Rangers at plus 1,100 and the Rangers to beat Toronto at plus 1,400 and get a huge payday. A huge payday if that's what ends up happening. So we shall see. All right. Good stuff here. Stanley Cup odds. We'll go over those real quick. Odds to win the Cup. The Leafs are the favorite right now, plus 370. Oilers plus 400. Stars plus 550. Knights plus 600. The Canes plus 700. The Panthers plus 1,000. Devils plus 1,200. The Rangers 13-1. That's a great number for the Rangers right now. And Seattle at 15-1. All right. Any thoughts on any of that, Dave?
Steve, I'm liking the Stars and the Oilers numbers. I think that's what I'm going to be focused on. Of course, I'll be very interested in the Panthers and Leafs. But I tell you what, that out west is getting very interesting, Steve.
All right, so we'll come back on Friday. We'll have game 2 of Carolina versus to be determined, Devils or Rangers. And we will also have the game 2 in Vegas for the Oilers and the Golden Knights. We will already have played on Thursday by the time we come back. Game 2 of Kraken Stars and game 2 of Panthers Maple Leafs. So we'll get a better feel of those series when we get back on the air Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, Dave. Enjoy the game tonight. Everyone out there, enjoy the game 7 we have with the Devils and the Rangers. We'll be back for a Friday edition playoff style of What the Puck is Going On at 6 p.m. Eastern. All right. Thanks, Dave. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Good luck, everyone. Have a good night.